Summer has been, in the most, a wetter, warmer event across Australia, and the obvious impact in our gardens tends to be bigger, leggier plants. More growth, which probably required more feeding and watering. So when we get to autumn, pruning and getting plants into shape is very important, but the waste you generate is a rich source of nutrients, moisture and valuable soil carbon, so you don't want to throw it away. This is where the investment in a garden shredder will allow you to reduce the amount of garden waste that you have and that you send to the tip by up to 75%. And it'll also allow you to make use of your garden waste and actually give back to your garden. Now, it's been such a warm, wet summer for me that pretty much most of my gardening activity through this period of the year has been about controlling the growth in the garden, which means you get a big build-up of green waste. And putting it through the shredder and breaking it down like this means that, well, it's a lot better as a mulch. Even better when you throw it into a compost heap, because if you're aerating, you've got the moisture of this and some of the dry material, the breakdown is so much quicker. And that means that, well, you end up with a good compost a lot earlier. The benefit to your garden is only as good as the mix you create, and that's why a garden shredder is important. Oxygen is just as valuable to your compost as the actual ingredients, so shredding your plant matter before you toss it into the compost heap will keep the mix open, allowing air to get in to the microbes, and this speeds up the composting process. A good compost can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months to mature, and autumn is the time to get started, taking advantage of the moist conditions. Remember, this will be maturing, ready for addition to the soil as a compost in the spring and early summer. And that's a vitally important time to protect the soil. But you don't have to compost it every time. Just using the chop and drop technique of adding organic material to the soil's surface will help your garden. I like to put these types of materials through my shredder and then spread a thin layer across my garden beds as a layer of protection. This will then act as an insulator against frost during the winter and heat during the summer. And in case you're wondering, and I'm sure you are, this machine can process branches up to 35 millimetres thick, which is pretty much everything you're ever going to need for your backyard. And of course, you're converting all this green material that took energy to grow, cost money for water and for fertiliser, into great compost for the garden. That saves money, saves your back pocket. Most importantly, it helps the environment.